7-yard line. That's a great call, too. Play fake. Plummer will put it up. Throws over the middle. Boom! Touchdown. Quick flag.
That's a way. Trying to center off with Eckerly, and he just missed the net. O'Reilly with the shot. Far down. He scored.
Come from behind for a month. Now with the lead, they're getting a little wobbly. Philadelphia, they won't get him. Wow. Edwards pulls up and buries a flag. Richardson tries, out for Robbie Ryan. Her three.
Welcome into Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as the Twitter. Yes, you know it. See the show live here every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1 as we get rolling. And, man, excitement in Sun Devil Nation. But, yes, you can see the show at, like I said, at Diablo00 on X, my IG, Michael.Caratino.5. And, yes, Pitchfork Lunchers, you know this. I know you know this. Go to YouTube and subscribe as anything you've missed. I mean, again, we started season 2. You've already missed a wonderful sit down with new athletic director Graham Rossini from Big 12 Media Days in Vegas. Also, linebackers coach, running game coordinator AJ Cooper from Sun Devil Football, and his defensive coach counterpart, Brian Carrington, coaching the corners, and sat down with him. Also, Chris Cartman, Sun Devil Insider, has jumped in last Friday. We'll see if we get a little preview from him for Saturday's game tomorrow. But tomorrow, Missy Farquet, yes, the wonderful, phenomenal women's golf coach who has definitely international flavor, as always, to the team, will be joining me tomorrow live here on Pitchfork Lunch. So, again, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, see my name, Michael Caratino. But then you can just search. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005, at MVC005 on YouTube. And subscribe. So, yes, feel the need to subscribe and, completely catch up on the interviews that you missed. For those of you that can't join live, we all have Sun Devil Nation friends. Let them know. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We go all around Sun Devil Nation. Again, we'll hear from today. We'll hear from defensive coordinator Brian Ward, and also we'll hear from starting center Leaf Fontanu, who again looked good up front. I mean, last year played banged up, but we'll be diving into Mississippi State. Volleyball, like I said, they will head to San Diego with their 3-0 record and looking to improve on that. Obviously, Sun Devil football, like I said, Mississippi State, yes, looking to go 2-0. Yes, looking to beat the first SEC team. And then granted, they haven't played a ton, but nonetheless, my disdain, there's been some interesting matchups, but so we'll talk that, but we'll hear from Brian Ward, defensive coordinator, and Leaf Fontana, the starting center, who's done a phenomenal job, my Pitchfork Lunchers. Also talk a little more soccer as Graham Winkworth and his team get set for Utah Tech on Sunday. Sun Devil Nation, yes, 1 p.m. Get on out there because then then they're not home for pretty much 3 weeks. They have they open up conference play. They open up conference play, and the first 3 are on the road: BYU, Houston, and UCF. That's Yeah, 4-0-2 overall, 17-3. They've outscored. Yeah, 17-3. And they had a 0-0 draw versus Little Rock, again, who's a very, very talented team. or has had success. But again, the 5-2 win on the road in Baton Rouge, taking down LSU. And then coming home to beat Grambling State, 2 shutouts in a row, Grambling State and then Penn. Grambling State 2-0, Penn 3-0. And now Utah Tech is coming up on Sunday. Whoa. Did they really switch that to 11 a.m.? Okay. I've been saying 1 p.m. Pitchfork Lunchers. Hit me up in the comments if you recognize that. But let's look and see. Let's look and see because yes, here we go. And this happened last night, so my apologies. I had it down at 1 p.m. in my notes as I was looking at it last night. But guess what, Pitchfork Lunchers? It is. Yep, moved up by 2 hours at 11 a.m. So, yes. 11 a.m. on Sunday. So if you got there at 1, you'd probably be getting there right towards the end of the game and be bummed out. So, yes, the 4-0-2 Lady Sun Devils, who have not lost yet this season. Coach Graham Winkworth, yeah, he's awesome. And I look forward to we're efforting, not going to say hopefully, we are efforting Coach Winkworth next week, early next week, as this team gets set to start Big 12 play, like I said, but 11 a.m. So the announcement on Twitter from or on X from the Sun Devil Soccer page, it says Sun Devil Soccer and Utah Tech have agreed to move the start time of Sunday's game at Sun Devil Soccer Stadium up by 2 hours. The game will now begin at 11 a.m. Arizona time. So make the changes. Now you have no reason not to get out there. Get out there early. Check out Sun Devil Soccer. Boom. Everybody's happy. Coming off of maybe I'll just stay in Tempe. Coming off of Saturday night, like a victory Monday for both, plus volleyball in San Diego. But yes, 11 a.m. is when they are kicking off now. But don't worry, the football game, I don't think that time has changed. Let's just make sure, right? Now it has nope, 7:30. We good. Wear gold again, baby. Wear gold. Student section, get rocking like you were last weekend. But yeah, man, look. And I mean, I did talk a little bit about the game we saw DeCarlos Brooks. And I know the touchdown at Shimon Mateer, the transfer tight end. But look, in hearing Coach Reynolds yesterday, and I'm gonna talk about this in a little bit. We're gonna talk about this after we hear from Coach Ward and Leaf. But look, I mean, offensively and the way they played and the way they played, it was just, again, absolutely. I mean, you heard Coach Reynolds, Dyron Reynolds, defensive line coach, talk about it yesterday. Just, their togetherness, and you hear Coach Dillingham talk about it. And yeah, they struggled a little bit out of practice on Tuesday. And we'll hear Leaf talk about that in a little bit. But look, when you look at what this offense can be, we talked about Cam Scattermoo and DeCarlos Brooks. I talked about that in camp, how, even back in spring ball, how unfortunately unfortunately had a little bit of a sickness, but had leaned up, dropped weight, leaned up, and still looks obviously absolutely awesome. DeCarlos Brooks, leaned up a little bit too, dropped some weight. You have those two in the backfield. Raleek Brown, transfer from USC, who looked obviously great in spring ball, and he's been a little nicked up and just getting back into practice. Like, we haven't even seen him yet. But then you get Kyson Brown, who takes that screen pass last week. This offense, and Sam Levitt, again, and you heard Coach played his sound on what, he didn't have that many oh wow moments. Like, as a freshman, you see Coach said at post game, played it on Monday for you. It's one of those things where, yes, it's a good building. It's a good start. Don't overstate the obvious, right? Pitchfork launchers. But what they can be, and I mean, the receiving corps, we saw, Jordan Tyson making some catches, which is, again, absolutely huge. When we look, and by the way, happy NFL kickoff day. Chiefs Ravens, let me know who you got. Hit me up in the comments, hit me up on X, but punch it in the comments here. Hit me up on X. Who you got? I'll tell you who I got at the end of the show. But yeah, I mean, we look at Big 12 scores overall, I'll talk about on Monday, did very, very well. But when you look at what obviously ASU did, and the offense and how it was spread. I mean, Sam Darnold, and Cam Scatterby talked about it. I mean, getting basically, 8 minutes left in the 7-8 minutes left in the third quarter and out of the game because they were in control and, getting young guys in there, getting reps. But you look at, like I said, Sam Levitt. If you just think 14 and 22, for 252 yards for Sam Levitt. And $14 and 22, 252, right? Yeah, 14 and 22 for 258 yards. Pardon me. Sorry. So 11.7, 2 touchdowns. And I mean, granted, Kyson Brown, who had 2 catches for 73 yards, took one of them 68, but on that screen pass, but still, like, and then Shimon Matera, the transfer tight end, who we heard from in the preseason. We're going to talk about in the preseason, you know, played a sound on the show from before last week's game. But he had 2 catches for 32 yards and a touchdown. So those are the receiving touchdowns. The rushing touchdowns, Scadaboo had 1. DeCarlos Brooks, seen his. Scadaboo had 11 carries for 49 yards. Brooks had 6 carries for 47 yards. Levitt, when he had to take off and run, 8 carries for 47 yards. And if I recall right, yeah, he was sacked twice. He had 2 sacks, but overall, I mean, look, defense or the offensive line, the way they ran the ball. So, look, it is one of those things, again, absolutely love to see, because, like I said, like what, you know, they're able to do. And you look at that, you know, so you have 22 rushes or passes, right? But 49 rushes. And yes, later in the game, obviously, you're running the ball, you're up big. Coach Dillingham just letting the clock run. And with the 2-minute warning, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. But with the new, obviously, you know, you can the communication into the helmet. If you guys didn't see the sign stealing yet on Netflix, the story about the young man from the whole Michigan thing, definitely suggest it in the midst of your schedules, but not during Pitchfork lunch. But yeah, so, but offensively, like, you see what it can be. I mean, what Coach Dillingham envisioned when he first came in, trying to build. And yeah, it's tough. You take over a 3-9 team, and then you have a bunch of injuries, and you go 3-9 again, and now you have 1/3 of your victory totals after week 1 this week. So again, it is awesome to see. As is, before we get to break, volleyball, like I said, 3-0, the LUV Invitational. Shelly Sear, the MVP of the Love Invitational last weekend, and Claire Jeter on the all tournament team. Forks up. We love it. So, yeah. But anyway, going to step aside. When we get back, we're going to hear from defensive coordinator for the Sun Devils, Brian Ward, and we'll also hear from starting center, Leaf Fontanu. But more coming up here on Pitchfork Lunch. All right, we are back here on Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as the Twitter. You see the show live here every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. And on my IG, michael.caratino.5. Plus, guys, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I've told you why. Those of you that are here, subscribe anyway. Much appreciated. Go subscribe. Go to YouTube. Michael Caratino, you see, but it's you can search us at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC005 on YouTube, and subscribe. So, from the defensive side of the ball, like I said, I mean, look, Brian Ward is second year. Like I said, we had to sit down with Coach Cooper, saw what the linebackers could do. I mean, both. Well, the first touchdown, as you know, I know. Have I mentioned this on Pitchfork Lunch? My good Pitchfork Lunch friends, my Pitchfork Lunchers, that the first touchdown of the season for AC was scored by the defense, the pick six, the first ever interception for Cyrus Fisu, and then Keyshawn Elliott gets an interception as well too. And then we have two defensive touchdowns as Justin Woodley on a pass that was deemed backwards, and Justin Woodley picks it up, scores. So two defensive touchdowns. I mean, are you going to get that every week in college football? Probably not. We got it this week. If we did get it every week, I would take it. Yes, I will. I'm not going to say I'll do anything crazy because I know someone will hold me to it, as you should. Because when people say, "Oh, I'll go, sit on a sign for, weeks or whatever," something weird, people, and then they just kind of disappear. But nonetheless, two defensive touchdowns, first touchdown of the season scored by Cyrus and a linebacker. And man, you heard a sound yesterday. I played it for you. You said, man, I was in the past, I had dropped a few and just kept dropping them. And that one just was right there. Bam, pick six. Have a good day. And that was absolutely awesome to see. Phenomenal. But yeah, it's one of those things where when I look at it, like Brian Ward, I mean, in the second year, and yeah, you bring some transfers in, and Coach Cooper talked about that. But man, the smoothness of it and everything. So anyway, before I get too carried away in a tangent, Pitchfork Lunchers, I do that. Excitement, but from being out at practice, talking to the coaches, seeing it. But I will let Brian Ward do that for us. So without further ado, here is Sun Devil defensive coordinator Brian Ward.
The fastest team you see all year, and they do a great job of getting defenses misaligned and running by quarterbacks and guys getting lazy in their technique, and hopefully you can get aligned and play fast.
Coach, obviously, Coach Dillingham talked about that yesterday, at least on the defensive side. A whole lot of players kind of had necessarily a last-day effort, talking about how the team had, metaphorically had won the Super Bowl, had the number one defense last week. What did you tell necessarily your unit coming into today, and how do you feel like the effort was necessarily mentally?
If you go back to last year, and this is part of just moving forward in our program, when Coach Dillingham, I'm sure was in his head, was last year we went 7 weeks without a win, and then we beat Washington State, and then we go up to Utah and play our worst game in 10 weeks of football as a football team. And you got to learn how to win as a program. And that's like the next step, okay? And you just go through steps feeling like, okay, you're off and running as a program. So hopefully this next week's going to be that next step, and hopefully our guys can handle the success. And our guys are tough guys, and especially the guys that came back from going through what we went through and the steps that we had to take last year. That's part of the growing process. So this next step in the growing process is learning how to win, and that's my challenge to the defense, and that's been our challenge this week. And regardless of what game it is or who we're playing, this offense is going to give us a lot of challenges because it's very, very different, polar opposite of what we saw last week.
Coach, I'm expecting not only a difference in style, also the bread I see. I'm expecting not only a difference in style, but there's going to be a difference in size, difference in speed. How do you prepare for that?
It's the best we can. We're going against the scout team, and we get a lot of crossover versus our offense. So we're able to get speed on speed and big on big. we try to script that practice to be able to simulate the game as much as possible. So, they're going to bring in different size. I mean, they're giants in the offensive line, and they're very athletic at quarterbacks. And if you don't see his first move, he'll move around, try to create. Their running backs are physical and athletic and fast, and their receivers will run by you. So we're trying to simulate that the best we can and simulate the tempo that we're going to see.
You have to get lined up fast, obviously, but does it make it harder to have a wider range of defensive calls when they are going so fast?
100%. You just, again, the most important thing is it's about us, it's not about them. So if our guys, we feel like we can execute, then it becomes a one-on-one situation. So we just tell our guys, you win your one-on-one, win your fight, okay? You're out in the back alley, and it's just you and him one-on-one if we can get lined up.
And what's the biggest challenge? I mean, obviously with tempo, it is a challenge, but substitutions. I mean, last week, again, guys, if they need to come out, came out. But what are some of the challenges that presents?
It's the same thing. I mean, with the speed that they get, and their whole philosophy is to get to 100 plays on offense, and that's what this offense is trying to do. If they can get to 100 plays, they're on track getting into the fourth quarter. Their mentality is you're going to be too gassed to be able to defend us. And I've been a part of this type of system before, and I know how these guys and what their philosophy is for the most part. And obviously every guy puts his own wrinkle on it, and they do a great job in terms of this is our philosophy, this is what we're trying to do. So, doing the best we can, trying to take a lot off their legs this week in terms of simulating the tempo. We'll get into what we do tomorrow, which is really easy going and pretty easy on Friday. So it's all about recovery right now and get ourselves ready for Saturday night.
Coach, with 2 quick turnovers last week, and obviously the struggles last year to create turnovers, did that kind of relieve you a little bit when you saw those Keyshawn and Zyro's interceptions early in the game?
No. I mean, literally, if we're executing, we're going to be fine. You know what I mean? And that's it's about us, and we don't put those things in our head. Like the only thing is we're kind of like salesmen. Like we're only as good as our next sale, so we're only as good as our next week. And I think we got a really good group, and that's the thing. We got a lot of experience on our defense. I told you guys last week the thing that I was most excited to see is, we don't have a lot of starters coming back, but we had a lot of experienced guys that have played a lot of football, and now I want to see what they could do all together, playing in their first real situation together. So last week was we did some really good things, but there's also things that we can get a lot better at, and that's going to be the challenge this week with the tempo and the athleticism and the size and all the things that these guys are going to present.
With the pace, how important is it to get the pre-snap disguises right?
I mean, it's hard. It's really difficult. Again, it starts with alignment, and everything starts with alignment in every defense that I install, and then you go with the disguises. So little wrinkles, little tweaks that we can show. And I mean, they're in tempo, so they can get our signals, and so they can call the right play, and so the guy can give the run or pass call to the to the quarterback, and we already know all that. So the challenge again, that's where the chess match lies. Is how can we disguise and how can we hide our signals and shows and on the field and off the field. So it's gonna be really interesting. So it's gonna be a real challenge. I'm not sleeping much this week.
Did anyone jump out to you on film with the lights on and the crowd, just seeing it actualize on the field? Did any players specifically jump out from your group?
I mean, I look at it more from a holistic standpoint, looking at the position groups that really make a difference. And, we didn't get a lot of 5-step or them throwing down the field because they didn't feel like they were going to be able to protect. You can see that they were trying to protect their quarterback, especially early on when we hit them early. A few times they did drop back and ended up getting to him. So, our defensive line, it all starts with those guys up front. I thought our interior guys were really disruptive. Our edges, we were able to set edges, and they were able to get a pass rush when we needed to. Linebackers were really physical. They played off blocks, and they had us schemed up a few times, and we just played faster than they were playing. And, and our secondary kept the ball in front of us. And that's really just our MO. Is, hey, when we need to challenge them out, we're going to challenge it. When we're trying to get you off schedule or we're trying to, get you off the field on third down, we're really going to challenge you. So I just thought as a defense we executed when we needed to, and was just really proud, was really proud of everybody. I mean, even the last drive when they scored, there was a couple calls I wish I could have had back. And yeah, we made a couple mistakes to allow those plays to happen. And, But that's the thing about defense is you're always going to remember that one play, not the however many snaps that we had. You know, that would have 58 snaps, and then you take away 6 snaps of that game, through like 49 snaps, they had, what was it, like 64 yards of offense or something crazy. So, you know, you guys played really well.
And there you hear it, Brian Ward. But yeah, I mean, look, Pace. When you guys hear Pace, a lot of you are well versed. But when you think of like a team, you know, oh, they're up tempo. There is an issue with that if you're not getting first downs, right? I mean, basic football, we can understand that. And in Sun Devil Stadium, we've seen that throughout the years happen a few times. Whether it was against another team trying it or it happened to the Sun Devils, which is unfortunate. But I will say this. It is one of those things that is just if you're not obviously, picking up first down, you're 3 and out, you're leaving your defense hanging out to dry. So again, it is that chess match of, an offense, we want to go fast, but guys make plays, guys are doing things, the fronts and the way they move their fronts. And we'll hear from Leaf in a second. But yeah, I mean, with what Coach Ward's saying right there, it's one of those things where, you look at the film and there's a few mistakes. Team's obviously going to make a play. This is the back and forth. And I'm not obviously picking at his words, pitchfork lunchers. What I am saying is everyone's like, oh, we didn't do this. Like you said on top of that, like they turn around and, beat Washington State, go to Utah and have one of their worst games of the season. Now, yes, they may have not executed as they should have and as they had practiced on things, but Utah caused a lot of that, as we know. I mean, unfortunately, that's that. But fast forward to the Wyoming game. I mean, you look at what the defense did. I mean, 3 sacks, 2 defensive touchdowns, 5 tackles for losses, or 7. 3 sacks, 5 tackles for losses. And Justin Woodley and Zyrus Fiasu with touchdowns. So, 2 interceptions for 47 yards worth of returns, like I said, between Fiasu and Elliott. But you look at the Ian Hershey was 6 for 6 on extra points. He was 2 for 3 on field goals. Carson Kiefer had an attempt, and Coach Dillingham talked about that. So probably a little bit unfair. Miss Santa Rounds wanted to get him an opportunity, but 0 for 1. Canyon Floyd, a Horizon Husky alum, my fellow pitchfork lunchers that are Huskies. But 2 punts, 92 yards, averaging 46 yards a punt, 1 touchback. So, I mean, for a true freshman, I know Coach Regal, we've talked to him, and after, week 2, we'll see. But, we like only having 2 punts as he is the holder on extra points, field goals. So, as well. But, I mean, overall, from a defensive standpoint, just absolutely money. So, but now – let's hear from the offense side of the ball, the center. Again, part of the Tillman leadership group for Sun Devil football, which is the Pat Tillman leadership group, which is absolutely awesome. And starting center, and starting with a new quarterback, he talks about that. So yes, without further ado, let's hear from the starting center for the Sun Devils.
3 down linemen, and they pull some guys off the edge to make it 5 front. Like, what are some of the things you got to watch out for?
I think it's just more of the blitz. There's a lot more opportunity for them to blitz, especially with the 3 down front. But I think that it's just a little differences in the zone game. But in reality, it's all the same to us in terms of blocking scheme. But I think that we're doing good job of adjusting to the 3 down.
I know they also bring down guys on the outside too, like the Jack linebacker, the Mike linebacker who blitz. What are you kind of seen from them, and how can they impact those blocking moves?
Yeah, I think honestly they're. We were talking about it. I think they're better a 4-down front team. I think that their odd is solid, but I think their 4-down front is more threatening to us, only because of they move out of their 4-down front. But I think they're a solid front 7. They're a downhill type team, and I feel like we just got to continue to do our job, and everything will work out.
I noticed that too in the 4-down front, seeing that they stun a little bit more than what it was what they do in the 3 fronts.
Yeah.
So what is kind of what are you kind of guys thinking of when you see the 4-down front to make sure you don't get caught up in a stun if they throw at you?
Yeah, so like we were talking about earlier, me and Sam got to be on the same page, because some plays are front dependent. So like if it's an odd, we get to this play. If it's even, we get to the other play. So we just got to do a good job of communicating between which front we are in and how many people are on the front. So I think we got to do a good job of communicating.
When it comes for the atmosphere, it seems like it could be a lot of students there, a lot of big crowd. What is that just kind of like for you? Like, have you kind of envisioned that and kind of seen maybe some of the hype around the team so far?
Yeah, I think that it plays an effect. Honestly, you've seen last year with USC, they couldn't hear it. They couldn't hear their cadence. So I feel like that'll help to our advantage. Giving them an environment to play in. That's really hard. And I feel like if we pack the stadium out, it would be really hard for them to play in, especially with our fans and how rowdy they get. It creates an advantage for us. So packing that stadium out will give us a really good advantage to win the game.
I know Dillingham's talked about it, at least the media somebody said it to you guys, just about like, ASU's never beat an SEC team.
Yeah.
Did you know that before, this week started, or is that something that he's kind of, told you guys entering this week?
No, I had no idea until this morning. This morning when he brought it up. So I feel like it's a good opportunity for us. We have a really good chance to make history here. So I feel like if we just continue to do our job, we'll be just fine and change history later.
What would that mean to be kind of a part of that, the first SEC win in a program like this that has a lot of history? What would that mean for this group?
Yeah, I think it'll be awesome, especially for Coach Dillingham going into year 2, kind of making those strides that he needs as a head coach, but also the strides we need as a program. And I feel like this is more of our statement game to kind of lay our mark on college football. So I feel like if we just continue to do our job, do what we're supposed to, then we'll be just fine on Saturday, both offense and defense.
For you, what are some of the keys? I know we talked about the front, but what are some of the keys for the offensive line to make sure everything's being protected well and make sure you guys come out on top? Yeah, I feel like if the offensive line has a good game, then I feel like we're going to have a good game offensively. I feel like if we continue to keep them on the field and manage the game and keep them on their heels, I feel like we'll be just fine running the ball. And I feel like that'll open up the play action game for us. So if we do good on the offensive line side, we'll be just fine in the offensive line. I was talking to Shamari earlier. He said that he thought the culture inside the team was better than what it was this time last year. Do you guys kind of feel like that offensively, that maybe this group is a little bit more tighter and the culture is stronger than what it was?
Yeah, I feel like we're a lot tighter than last year. I feel like we do a really good job of getting together, and the camaraderie we've built over this past off season and camp. So going into the season, I feel like we're a lot tighter. We're able to communicate a lot more effectively. I feel like we're a lot more transparent with each other. We're not afraid to hurt each other's feelings, which in terms of last year, we were kind of like on edge with each other and stuff like that. But I feel like we have that honesty between each other where we are kind of looking out for the best interests of each other. So I feel like that's kind of what's helping us going into this week. I feel like we're practicing hard and we're doing a good job and prepping for Saturday.
Is there a secret to managing success as opposed to dealing with adversity? Now you're coming off such a big win heading into this game against Mississippi State.
Yeah, I think Coach Dilly did a really good job of harping that onto us. We had a really good game. That's cool. But so what? Now it's the next week. And I feel like we got to get that through the team's head. Don't get too high, but also don't get too low. Just treat it like every other game and prepare just as much as we did last week. So I feel like that's kind of the emphasis of moving on to the next week and kind of waiting for that adversity to hit, because I don't think we've faced adversity just yet, but I think we're ready for it, and I think we're going to have a good game on Saturday.
And to piggyback off that, Leaf, how do you feel, saying the communication and the chemistry with the line, but just throughout the game, that the communication and just you guys being on the same page for a first game, how do you feel that was?
I feel like it was good. We kind of put in the work on the film and all the meetings that we've had it paid out, So I feel like if we continue to prepare the same way, we'll have the same result. So I think that if we continue to communicate effectively between the line and also the quarterbacks and the running backs as well, because they're also in protection, we'll be on the same page and we'll have a really good game.
What were your takes on Sam and his play in his quarterbacking debut?
Yeah, I think he's awesome. I mean, I've been a part of teams where I have had young guys behind me, as freshmen. So kind of giving him that confidence, kind of giving that big brother help, trying to tell him that I believe in him and stuff like that, trying to help him along the way with protection and stuff like that. But I think he did an awesome job having a lot of confidence. He's a very confident player. And I think that with the offensive line, protecting him and doing what we have to do in order to keep him safe and keep him confident, I think he'll have a really good game again.
Billy said he was very much in the moment, didn't let the moment get too big for him.
Yeah.
Did you get that sense in the moment?
Yeah, I think so. I think he was very calm, cool, and collected, regardless of what happened. Even if we had to punt or even if we scored, he came right back to himself and treated every drive as if we had 0 points on the board. So I feel like he's a really confident player, and he's definitely gonna only get better from here.
Is there a little fun banter about from the defense about them getting the first score of the season?
Oh yeah, I mean, shout out to my guy Cyrus. I mean, that's my guy. But yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it started off the game hot for us. Definitely see when we were looking on their sideline, I feel like they were out of it just from that point. So I feel like the team, we feed off of their energy as well. So I feel like that's kind of why we were able to continue to do what we do on the offensive side. So it was a good start for both sides of the ball.
Dillingham's talked a lot about how culture is tested with adversity. Like you don't know how strong you are until you face that adversity.
Yeah.
With a lot of guys saying the culture is strong, how do you guys, or what are some of the signs of the culture is strong, even though you haven't faced the adversity yet?
I think it goes to show all the players, all the leaders on the team. We kind of take charge of that, and when things go wrong, we kind of stop the practice. And we had a little bit of it today, where practice was a little sluggish, but then the leaders of the team were able to step up and kind of stop practice and snap everybody back into it. So I feel like when that time comes and adversity hits, we'll be ready, because I feel like the players and the leaders have taken a big stride over in the offseason, to kind of take control of the team and be a player-led team.
What was it like seeing Keona get a rush there at the very end?
Oh, that was awesome. I was like, as he was going onto the field, I was like, 35, he's 35. But then I seen him with his spat and his tape and his arm, his elbow sleeves, and I'm like, oh, that's Keona. So then it was so awesome. I was cheering so loud for him, even though he had only a -1 rushing. I mean that, but still, yeah, carrying the rock in the college football game is like once in a lifetime. So I was super happy for my guy and super excited for him. Thank you.
And there he is. And look, I mean, he said it right there. I mean, obviously the tempo, but yeah, and that's what I was talking about from practice on Tuesday, because you heard it when I played Keith Abney's sound yesterday, saying, Coach saying guys almost like maybe thought they won the Super Bowl and with their performance, but that's what Leaf was talking about right there, just that leadership of stopping practice, saying, hey, because even Coach Dillingham went on to say yesterday that the physical was still there. It was just the mental part, and that was that. But that being said, there's but what Leaf's talking about there, yes, I'm practicing then. But Coach Dillingham saying, so yeah, the physical was there. It's just kind of, but they're competing. They're there. They're getting it. It's just being able to practice. And look, it wasn't an excuse last year. I mean, Coach didn't really start saying that didn't say it until, because he didn't want it to become that for the guys that are out there working, but not being able to fully practice. We all understand. We get it. If you don't get it, yes, guys, kind of playing on scout team that are still playing. And it's just, you couldn't be, not that you're beating each other up constantly, but you're still going from there. So it's one of those things where where I look at it and you can see it on the field. The old adage, you play like you practice. That's again, and you can just see it, that the energy and having a leader like him, like Leaf talking about that. But yeah, it's absolutely awesome. So let you digest that. We're going to take just one last quick break. Then we're going to wrap up with a little volleyball, a little early season. Obviously 3-0, only dropped one set so far. But yeah, I'm gonna only dropped one set so far. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap up. A little volleyball on the other side, and a reminder of what's up with soccer as well here on Pitchfork Lunch. All right, back here on Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as the Twitter. And you can see the show live here every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. And then my IG, Michael.Caratino.5. And Pitchfork Lunchers, go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Tell your friends. Go all around Sundell Athletics. You just heard that sound. You heard sound from not just football, but multiple practices. Missy Farkay. Awesome. We are going to have her tomorrow. That is confirmed. She will be on live tomorrow. The women's golf coach, who, again, has a great international flavor to her team, as always. And we'll talk about that tomorrow. But, yes, Missy Farkay will be joining me tomorrow at 12:15. So, Pitchfork Lunchers, spread the word. Get out there. And you'll want to hear it because you got a kid that's a golfer. I want to hear it. We're not going to go obviously crazy X's and O's, but she has done some amazing things, led some amazing players, blended a team. And, it's like tennis and track are the most individual team sports, right? Let that sink in. But that's tomorrow. Volleyball. Yes, want to get to volleyball, kids, because they are 3-0 in the season in the Love Invitational, as they were able to take that. Claire Jeter on the all-tournament team. Jelly Sear, obviously, on the all-tournament team. But the MVP of the tournament, again, little Pitchfork Lunch boost there, friend of the program. So look forward to catching up with Jelly Sear, hopefully soon. Not hopefully, we'll catch up soon. Again, just got to match it up. But they... Yes, 3-0, only dropped one set. That was to Butler last Friday. But then took out Lipscomb and then Cal Baptist all in 3 and just absolutely rocked it. I mean, the scores real quick for Butler, it was, they dropped the first 23-25. Then they just – you go from losing 25-23, right, to utterly beating a team down 25-7. Everybody has those matches. I'm not talking trash about Butler. Says they've had some pretty good teams. So but yeah, you beat somebody, you have that kind of set. But then look, it turns around. The third set was 25-20, and then ASU in control of the fourth, 25-17. Then we look at the Lipscomb match, which they 1-3. It was 25-13 Devils, then 25-21, 25-20. 8 aces. Oh, yes. I got to get on the ace kick. We'll talk about that in stats in a second. But 8 aces that match. So, yeah, and then we look at the Cal Baptist, which they obviously won in 3 quickly. It was 25-6, and then 25-18, 25-13. It never really out of it there. But when we look at stats for this team, and we'll wrap up on individual real quick and talk obviously a little bit more tomorrow as they get play started tomorrow. So far, Jelly Sear leads the team with 37 kills. Shania Cromartie, Shania Cromartie has 25. Also, Claire Jeter has 25 kills, so they are tied for second. And then Savannah Kajoldi has 17 kills for the Devils, and then at 13 is Bailey Miller. So, but then when we look at, yes, you know, my favorite, the aces. Oh, there we go. I'm like, there is no way somebody has 82 aces. No, that's assists. Apologies. Or 97, I should say. Argentina Ung right there. But aces, Jelly Sear has 7 and is leading the team. Savannah Kajoli right behind her with 5. Oh, Bryn Koval actually is tied with Jelly Sear, having 7 aces. But yeah, I mean, you look at what you know, like I said, 37 kills for Jelly Sear, and from the time she started coming on last season, you know, early on, Coach Van Neal, because obviously Marta Levinska doing what she's doing, but yes, there was enough of the ball to spread around. Jelly Sear started that, you know, at that first end of the first third of the season, really started to come into her own, get more opportunities. And yeah, I mean, Levinska and Sear are going crazy, and obviously Claire Jeter at the net as well, getting it done. So look, very stoked as this team, like I said, gets set to head to San Diego as now they'll take, and you know, the San Diego tournament. But yeah, USD, the Toreros hosting it. And so tomorrow, 4 p.m., and I'll remind you again, 4 p.m. Arizona time, they will take on UC Santa Barbara. And then Saturday, September 7th at 6 p.m., they'll be taking on USD. So, you know, before the game, for the football game, you know, on ESPN Plus, hopefully no sound issues, and we get to see our Devils play there. And then Sunday at noon on Sunday, they will be taking on St. John's. But man, just again, the team in Argentina Ung. I mean, look, you get an All-American that transfers in, and Coach Van Neal, I played the sound. I mean, talked about it at the Maroon and Gold scrimmage. Someone like that, and it's just, yeah, Shannon Shields, obviously phenomenal. You know, and how she ran the offense and understanding what, you know, Coach Van Neal wanted to do and how they could do it, and the organized chaos. I always call it, of setters running an offense. When they're running it beautifully, it is organized chaos, because it is keeping the defense, the team on the other side of the net, on their heels. So, but Argentina Ung, again, settling into that role. And man, just so excited to see this team this year and what they can do. And again, you know, they came in preseason ranked 17th. So again, and I will stand by it. Just they earned it, but you know me in preseason rankings, it's always I never understood it. But that being said, you know, but yeah, this volleyball team, absolutely awesome. Again, soccer on Sunday got moved back from, or did you say moved up, from 1 p.m. to 11 a.m. at Sun Devil Soccer Lacrosse Stadium. I will mention that again tomorrow, so we won't forget it. Also, for the NFL picks, did anybody for tonight, the Chiefs and the Ravens, by the way, they are I'm going with the Ravens, and I'm not being a hater. You guys know, I mean, a lot of you, I mean, I talked about it a little bit. I respect the hell of the Chiefs, what they did, what Andy Reid has done with his team. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, what he can do. Chris Jones defensively, former a lot of Pac-12 secondary in there. Pac-12 players in their secondary, former Pac-12 players. Yes, we're in the Big 12 now, but still Pac-12. But yeah, I think it's going to be I do think it's going to be a hell of a game. I think Derrick Henry in Baltimore, that is just absolutely scary. So I'm going with the Ravens tonight. It's on record. So you can hammer me tomorrow if that doesn't for you Chiefs fans. I'm not hating on you. I think, keep up tradition like when you lost to Detroit last year. Okay, that's my only pot shot. Come on. We're just playing. We're Sun Devils. But anyway, have a great rest of your Thirsty Thursday. I will see you tomorrow. Hopefully, see, the guest. We'll see. Efforting. Not hopefully. Missy Farkay will be joining us live. And I'm aiming to get another guest as well for that. But 12:15, Missy Farkay will be live with us. Maybe 12:10. Let's say 12:10. 12:10, Missy Farkay will be live with us, and we will go from there. But that being said, have a phenomenal rest of your Thirsty Thursday. Hope I quenched all that Sun Devil thirst for you. And it's a Sun Devil state. Enjoy the little extra on the way out. But yes, you know it, Pitchfork Lunchers. As always, forks up.
I went to Arizona State. Right. I'm a Sun Devil, man.
The 27-yard line. That's a great call, too. Play fake. Bubba will put it up. Throws over the middle. Touchdown. Great flag.
That's away. Trying to center off with Eckerly, and he just missed the net. O'Reilly with the shot. Far down. He scored.
From behind for a month. Now with the lead, they're getting a little wobbly. Philadelphia, they won't get it. Wow. Edwards pulls up and buries the flag. Shot for